Babe Didrikson. If you were to ask a female athlete today if they have heard of Babe Didrikson, they probably have not. However, chances are that that athlete has reaped the benefits of Babe Didrikson's contribution to sport as we currently know it. Born on June 26, 1911, as Mildred Ella Didrikson in Port Arthur, Texas, Babe Didrikson was an athlete from early on in her childhood. In fact, she was known so well for her ability to hit home runs while playing sandlot baseball that the boys in her neighborhood gave her the nickname Babe that stuck for life. Babe was not like the other girls in that time period. It was made evident to her throughout her entire athletic career that while she was a great athlete, women were not supposed to fill that role, but rather focus on being delicate, pretty, and a good wife in the future. Despite the ideas of society, Babe frequently stated that her goal was to be the greatest athlete alive. Her sporting endeavors included basically every sport in the book: basketball, baseball, track, diving, tennis, golf, bowling, swimming, volleyball, handball, skating, billiards, and cycling. Once, when asked if there was anything she did not play, Babe replied, "Yeah, dolls." While playing high school basketball, Babe's athletic abilities were noticed by Employers Casualty Company in Dallas, Texas, and she soon began playing basketball for them while being paid to be a receptionist. She won AAU All-American honors from 1930 to 1932. While exploring her talents, Babe picked up the sport of track and field, where she soon excelled in multiple events. While competing in an Olympic qualifying event, Babe won the track meet entirely on her own while competing in 8 of the 10 events. Of those events, she won 5 and tied for first in the high jump, qualifying her for the Olympic in 5 events. During that time in history, women were only allowed to compete in 3 track and field events in the Olympics. Babe competed in the 1932 Los Angeles Olympics, where she won both the javelin and the 80-meter hurdles and tied for first in the high jump. Soon thereafter, Babe turned her attention to the sport of golf, which would prove to be her best sport and how she is best remembered. Throughout her golfing career, Babe won 82 tournaments, including 10 major championships. Never being one to shy away from a challenge, Babe even played alongside men in several competitions. While playing in the 1938 Los Angeles Open, she was paired up with professional wrestler George Zaharias, who would become her husband just months later. Babe's golf accomplishments led her to being named the Associated Press's Female Athlete of the Year 6 different times, as well as being voted Woman Athlete of the first half of the 20th century by the Associated Press. In 1949, Babe and 12 other prominent female golfers founded the Ladies Professional Golf Association, one of her largest contributions to female sport to date. In 1953, Babe learned she had rectal cancer that had spread to her lymph nodes. After undergoing surgery to remove a cancerous tumor, Babe came back to win a final U.S. Women's Open. Shortly after, the cancer had spread and become too great, leading to her death at age 45 in 1956. During the time that Babe Didrikson was making a name for herself as an athlete, the rest of society saw female athletes as a strange phenomenon. Some were repulsed by the masculinity of Babe, both by the definition of her muscles and by her bold confidence that dominated most of her competitors. Joe Williams wrote in the New York World Telegram that it would be much better if she and her ilk stayed at home, got themselves prettied up, and waited for the phone to ring. Babe was the polar opposite of what society at the time expected from a woman, and it was no secret that her lifestyle was viewed as unacceptable by many. The chasm that separated female athletes and opportunity to explore the world of sport was enormous. Despite this disadvantage, Babe served as a trailblazer for women in sport. Her tenacity propelled her to break through numerous barriers, and her unparalleled talent, paired with extraordinary confidence, eventually led to the acceptance that women were becoming a part of sport, whether the world was ready or not. While Babe may have made this movement look easy, one has to keep in mind that while she was making a name for herself in sport, the 19th Amendment, which was meant to grant equal rights to women, was not even 20 years old. In a time where equal rights for women in general were still not guaranteed, equality for women in sport was most definitely a battle. At this time, society was much more conservative than it is now, which is a testament to the climate of sport. Sport has always been slow to change when compared to the pace of society. If society as a whole was hesitant to accept women as equals, it is practically inevitable that acceptance of women in sport, a male-dominated field, is slow to come around. There is no question that Babe Didrikson had a tremendous effect on the landscape of not only sport, but also society as a whole. As one of the first females to be a standout athlete, a stud really, Babe was a pioneer for all women in sport. Because of her heavy involvement in so many different sports, she made a clear statement to the world that women were every bit as capable as men to participate and even dominate in their sports. Babe's courage to charge into a primarily male area of society was a huge step towards an ongoing goal of gender equality in sport. In a time where society expected women to be polished and ladylike, Babe proved that women could be exactly what they wanted to be in order to play their sport. Babe's prominence in the sport of golf is what led to her immense influence on sport. A woman who could draw crowds and get people excited for a female sport was unheard of in that time. Yet, Babe Didrikson was a name that everyone was familiar with. Alongside 12 other female golfers, Babe laid the framework for the Ladies Professional Golf Association, the LPGA. In the early stages of the LPGA, Babe was a driving force to its success. With what started as practically a one-woman show, Babe took the sport of women's golf and made it into something that people all over the world can enjoy. In fact, there are approximately 230 active LPGA Tour members today, representing 30 different countries worldwide. One can only imagine what sport would look like today if it were not for the massive strides taken by Babe Didrikson to bring equality and inclusivity to a field that did not know just what it was missing.